In today's video, we'll be talking about the earliest tank mass-produced in the Second World War, the M3 Lee Iron Cathedral, and another name for it, the M3 Grant. Both named after the two famous Civil War generals, Robert E. Lee and Ulysses S. Grant. Both are very similar in size, shape, and appearance, but the top turret on the M3 Lee is a tad bit smaller than that on the M3 Grant. Both tanks were manufactured by the Americans and used by both the US and the British, with the M3 Grant designed specifically for British requirements. We kick off this story in the years leading up to World War II, where tank production for the Allies was not that great. And just to make things even more worse for the Allies, the current tanks at the time were light and outdated. When war broke out in Europe in 1939, the Allies were left ill-prepared. And when things were already bad, it got even more worse for the Allies. For the Germans has a brand new Panzer tank that is a game changer on the battlefield and was too strong for the Allied tanks. As Germany began their blitzkrieg tactic known as Lightning War, it became clear that the Allies will need a much stronger tank in order to combat the German Panzer. The US had begun production on the Sherman tanks, and unfortunately it would not be ready in time, so they had to speed up production on the M3 tanks. The M3 tanks were very reliable but had some design flaws. These included being too tall, hence the name Iron Cathedral, along with having a tendency to catch fire easily. Other than that, the M3 tanks were actually pretty good. They were equipped with a 75mm gun as its main weapon, which is exactly what the Allies needed in order to combat the Panzer. The 75mm gun was not mounted on a fully rotating turret in the middle, but instead mounted on the right-hand side of the tank. The tank was also equipped with a 37mm secondary gun and a few Browning 30-06 machine guns. The tanks saw action in many campaign theaters, especially in the North African campaign. The British at first were very reluctant because of its height, but the tank quickly became a warhorse for the British, especially when they were struggling in the early years of World War II. The tank saw action for the Americans serving in North Africa, along with seeing action in the campaign of Sicily. By mid-1943, the M3 tanks were gradually being replaced with the M4 Sherman tanks. The Sherman tanks began correcting many of the flaws that the M3 tanks had, with one including a 75mm gun mounted on a fully rotating turret. The tanks were then sent to the Eastern Front for the Soviets to use in their fight against the Germans. But after a year of heavy fighting, the Soviets quickly realized that the tanks were already outdated and there was no need to keep on using them. So they would set them to the side and would hardly use them. The M3 tanks had a relatively short time in service, but no doubt hasn't seen its fair share of combat. It truly was a warhorse during its tenure, helping the Allies gain a foothold in North Africa, along with paving the way for development of a much stronger army. In my opinion, I think that the M3 tanks were very good, having good armor and great firepower, for it was able to combat the German Panzer with the 75mm gun as its main weapon. Though having a unique design when we look at it today, having its main weapon mounted on a fixed position instead of in the middle of the tank. But that does not affect the firepower it brought to the table. It held its own in the early stages of World War II against the German Panzers. Upon retirement, the M3 tanks have paved the way for the next tank, the M4 Sherman. If tanks could talk, I think the M4 Sherman would tell the M3 Lee, "Good work, I got it from here." And that, my friends, is the story of the M3 Lee Iron Cathedral. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, feel free to hit that subscribe button down below. Hit that notification bell too, so that way you'll be notified on the next time I upload a new video. Hope you all enjoyed it. I'll see you all in the next one.